Live. Okay, we are
All right, here we
live.
go. All
Hey,
right.
good morning, everybody. I'm Erica,
I'm Kurt,
and
and
we
we
are
are
Finding
finding
Home
home Atlanta.
Atlanta, a husband and wife real estate team helping you to sell, buy, and invest, and just stay informed about the lovely west side of Atlanta,
That's right.
Georgia.
And today we have a special guest. We have John Parker. He is the founder of Baleka Run Club,
That's right.
and he's right here on the west side for the
Yes,
moment.
Hey,
sir.
So we're gonna plug him in, and just so we can accommodate his time.
get
Right
started. Yeah,
here.
so tell us, what is Baleka Run Club? You look like you're running right now, or that you just running. Tell us about it because it's not just a run club. I'm such a fan.
Yeah. So Baleka Run Club basically runs on a model of like wellness. So we have 6 areas of wellness that we touch on: environmental wellness, physical wellness, intellectual wellness, social wellness, spiritual wellness, and there's always that one that I forget, but it's another. It's six of them. So
Uh,
basically, emotional wellness. How can I forget that one? One of the most important pieces.
oh
So
yeah, that's
basically, all the things that we do, from actually running to doing
okay.
mental health groups to teaching young adults and people how to cook healthy meals, we try to touch on those areas whenever we have an event. So it's more than just going out and sweating. We're actually doing a lot of things communally in order to reach our individual goals.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So it's Wednesday, and we try to make sure that we feature a business that's somewhere here on the West Side. So we know
Yeah.
you're international. Can you tell us a little bit about where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
started?
yeah.
Yeah.
How who I did? I'm repping the.
I'll
Hey.
wear mine tomorrow.
Right. Right.
Wore mine yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get started? And tell us about his roots.
Okay, well, I was living in South Africa for a little while, and I was training for Two Oceans Marathons, one of the bigger marathons there. And I was in a township called Guguletu. And while, like, whenever I would drive through or walk around, I would hear the children yell out, Baleka, Baleka. And I figured that either meant police or that meant run or have fun or something, because when you hear a bunch of kids yelling the same thing, where I'm from, it's like, watch out for them boys or whatever. But I found out it was a Xhosa word for run, or it was sprint in Zulu. And so basically, when I was training for the marathon, like a lot of the young adults and a lot of kids wanted to train with me. So I was like, all right, well, let's just make it a group thing. And it kind of like forced us all to come together, to exercise together, to work out together.
Yeah.
And we also built community while we were doing it. And so I was thinking, well, man, this should be something that I continue even outside of just training for this race. And that's kind of how Baleka Run Club came about. It was like, all right, well, let's just come together and train. But then it ended up being like we started going on hikes, we started going on walks, we started seeing the city together, we started cooking meals together, we started talking about like ancestor worship and faith and religion and all these different things, and it just grew into what it is now.
Wow. We would like to feature your website right now. So right now, I'm about to share our screen. And so we've got the Baleka Run Club. Is there anything that you would like us to know just in general about the website? How can people support you? You know, supporting Black business is
Yeah.
not a fad, but it's something that's really, really important because,
Yeah.
we talk a lot about things that are happening in our world, and it's really cool to go on protests and to talk about what we believe. But when you have had the history that we've had in our country, it's important to not just. I love the Malcolm X quote. He says, "If somebody puts a knife into you 9 inches, if they pull it out 6 inches, that's not progress. If they pull
Right.
it out nine
Right.
inches, that's not progress.
Right.
You got to heal
Heal
the
the wound.
wound,
Yeah.
right?" And then he said, "Some people act like the wound's not even there," and he smirked. What a wonderful soul. But I say that because as we talk about doing well by our neighbors, white, black, no matter what your ethnicity, I think economics is a huge thing. So how can we support and how
Yeah.
can we teach our talk to our sphere of influence about supporting Baleka Run Club?
Yeah, so we're like for-profit philanthropy, right? So at some point in time, we might go nonprofit, but what I try to do is I create stuff. So on the shop section, there's tanks, there's shorts, there's bandanas, there's all kind of athletic gear that you can buy. But it's not just about buying. What I do is the bandanas that I made were locally produced in South Africa on a fabric called shwe shwe, and it's a fabric that's not necessarily native to South Africa, but
Yeah.
it's a big deal as far as like it being a popular item to wear in South Africa. And so my goal was to bring a little piece of Africa back to America. And even the designs of our tanks have the shwe shwe patterns on there. And so when you support us, you're supporting the local
That's
women.
all.
Yeah, the shop called One of Each that designed our bandanas for us. as well as you support the programming that we do in South Africa and locally here in America, basically running, like I said, doing the run clubs and having that, but we're also providing free emotional. I'm a licensed professional counselor, so I provide free
Right. Say that again.
counseling. I'm
You're
a licensed professional counselor.
okay. Just
In,
get it out there. Yes.
yeah. And so I provide free services to Black kids, especially based on the money that I bring in from the sale of our goods or whatever. So it goes a long way, as well as it helps run the clubs back in South Africa.
Got
All
you.
right.
Well, I'm going to throw you off just a little bit. You know, as I know you have frequented some of the west side of Atlanta, what are some things that you'd like to see based on you being an entrepreneur here, licensed counselor? What are some things, even as the owner of Baleka Run Club, what are some things that you think that you would love to see over here in Atlanta and particularly on the west side?
Yeah, I would like to see the revitalization of somehow like boys and girls clubs or like entities like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that particular organization, but just a place where people can come,
Yeah.
where young kids and young adults can like sit with elders and have conversation with them. Spaces where we can learn how to cook healthy meals. I know there's a lot of vegan stuff and all that on the west side or whatever, but people still for themselves don't know how to grow their own food. They don't
Yeah.
know the difference between a cabbage and lettuce and whatever else that there may be. But I feel like in the times where like something like COVID hits and you can't even go to the grocery store sometimes to buy food, if we all are growing our own produce and we have different things that people are growing, we can share and swap our own things so we don't have to rely on grocery stores and grocery chains. So I just really wish if we had an opportunity to have a space where the older can teach the younger, where the OGs can say, hey, let me show you how to grow some things, where the OGs like Kirk can say, hey, let me help you change your brakes. You know what I'm saying? Just right. Just little things. Right?
So right now we pulled up your Instagram page. So
Yeah.
it is at Baleka Run Club. You guys,
Yeah.
please.
Oh, and one thing I didn't notice, what I think is really cool, the logo that you see right there.
Yeah.
It took me a while to figure out, but it's actually like two legs running.
Oh,
Yes.
wow,
Yeah.
okay. See, I've been wearing it. Didn't even know. But that's wonderful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Any final words for our audience before we start talking about the historic West End neighborhood? Is there anything you'd like to leave our people with today? And please, if y'all have a comment for him, we can ask him later. Put it in the comments. I should have said that earlier, but we have contact with him. So if you want to say something, please feel free to comment. I see y'all watching. Okay, go ahead. Anything else?
No, I just appreciate what y'all are doing, man. I've seen a lot of things, have been in a lot of places, and what's happening in Atlanta is not native to Atlanta, whether you want to call it gentrification or beautification or community turnover. I just hope that people like feel the need to invest in the west side of Atlanta, feel the need to stay rooted, to stay planted, to mentor somebody, to grab a kid and say, hey, man, how can I walk alongside you in this life? Not grab a kid off the street, but like get involved, actively involved in somebody's life and really pour into them, man, because we need it, man. We really need people like you all that are rooted and firmly planted into the area, into the city, that love the area, that love people, and just want to do right by folks. We need y'all.
All right, well, thank you. We need you guys too. We need you too. We need Baleka Run Club. I need to get in shape, and so many other things. Mental wellness. Tell me one more time those last those pillars that you have for your company, and then we'll let you go.
Yes. Okay. Physical wellness, intellectual wellness, emotional wellness, social wellness, environmental wellness, and spiritual wellness. And so all of those things are important, man, to have good health, to be actively involved in that stuff.
All right. If y'all want to know more about Mr. Parker, owner of Baleka Run Club, you can see his handle right here on the screen at Baleka Run Club. And I think that's a great place to start. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being on the show this morning, JP.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So, yeah, you see that the residents here in the west side of Atlanta, they're really involved. He has a business here, yet in the same, he's talking about, hey, neighbors, let's do things that are getting us together to foster community, our health, care about one another, take care of the youth.
Yeah.
That's just the community that exists over here on the west side of Atlanta.
Yeah, I love the West Side. I do. And I think it's really important as this week we're covering the West Side. We're covering, the West End historic neighborhood. I wanted to take some time to just share a little bit more about that neighborhood. So if you'll give me a moment.
Let's come right up.
You're right. You're right. So yeah, we're about to share a little bit about their page. So if you want to know more about the West End yourself, then you can go to this website here. It is atlantawestend.com. So, oh my goodness, I love this artwork. Do you know where this is?
What street that's on?
Oh, it's changing so quickly.
Is
See,
that
Kurt, he don't know. I'm just joking. No, but you guys will probably recognize this one more. So this is a lovely piece of artwork right on the side of Lee White. This is also a piece of artwork from the Lee White district. So the Lee White district, we talked about it a couple of episodes ago. It's actually in the West End, in the historic West End.
Mhm.
So one thing I love is you have all these businesses here. You've got Monday Night Garage. You've got Honeysuckle Gelato. So many growing businesses on the West Side. So like we were talking with JP about investing, it's not just about investing in Black-owned businesses. It's about all businesses. But we're just saying we want to be inclusive and make sure as the West Side changes that we become a beautiful, just wonderful picture of humanity. So yeah, I'm a dreamer. But yeah, you have anything else to say about just what's going on in real estate for anybody today?
I'll say, oh, you know what? There were some facts I gave you yesterday.
Yeah.
Kind of misquoted, but I don't have that sitting in front of me
Oh,
right now.
I remember.
Mhm.
So we gave you the stats yesterday on
Oh yeah,
how many
the
homes?
were listed, went under contract, which one's closed. And for the Southwest side, I gave the 24-hour statistics versus the 7-day
Yes.
for that. So I have to just update that on tomorrow.
Yeah, so it was still accurate information.
Yeah, it
It's
was
just
still
that
accurate.
Kurt said 24 hours and he meant the last 7 days and
Yeah.
what happened. So yeah, still accurate, just a little slip there. But another thing I want to reiterate, I can't tell everybody enough about the current interest rates. So people who have just considered, first off, number one, whether you think you're in the market or not, please listen. This is from my heart. If you're a homeowner, you want to know the value of your home. It's important because it says something. It does say something about your real life because there's this thing called equity. And what is equity? It's the amount of cash value that is stored up in your home. So when you become a homeowner, and I think that it's so important to understand home ownership because especially in this country, it was really a tool used, an economic tool used for some people and against other people. And when we trace that back, we can trace it right down to real estate.
Home ownership. Yeah.
Home ownership. Yeah. So home ownership is where we get these statistics that, for example, the average African American, not all, but the average African American family in the country has 10% of the wealth of the average white American family in the USA. And literally, you guys, this big gap was fostered by unethical real estate practices. So I say that to say, when I tell you white, Black, I'm talking to everybody. You really need to know the value of your home. You need to know how much equity is in that home because here's what it does. It empowers you. Whatever you're trying to do, whether you want to stay there forever, you understand how much equity you have for those that you may pass that home to. Number one. Number two, if you do decide to sell, you are very well informed. You can say, hey, I've got $50,000, or I've got $100,000. I did a CMA yesterday where somebody probably has close to $300,000 of equity in their home just because of where they purchased and when. So you want to know that because if you do want to make a move, or let's say you hit a hard time, COVID has hit a lot of people. I heard a statistic, now y'all don't quote me, but I heard a statistic yesterday in a meeting that 90% of a particular type of federally insured loan are in forbearance right now because of COVID-19. So what is that? People are putting off their mortgage payments because of the tragedy, because of the hardship. But what if, we don't know what's going to happen, but what if you knew how much equity was in your home? What if you felt empowered to maybe even sell and stay in your same neighborhood? What? How is that even possible? I'll tell you how, because if you have equity in your home, am I doing too much?
No.
Okay, did you let me know? Because I can ramble, but I'm really trying to help people here. If you have equity in your home and you want to sell, but you're like, I don't want to leave my lovely neighborhood because this is Atlanta. All neighborhoods are so awesome. But you can take advantage of the equity and the low interest rates on your new mortgage payment. And in some cases, your mortgage may be very minimal with a low interest rate because of how much equity you have. So I'm talking equity, equity, equity. Well, you're like, Erica, how can I know how much equity is in my
How can you
home?
know?
How can you know? How can they know, Kurt?
Well, we can go ahead and do a CMA. We can go ahead and do a comparative market analysis to find out what your home is valued at this current moment in comparison to what else is out there.
Yeah, so we can do that for you. Basically, we're saying we can help you understand the fair market value of your home right now. And like I said, whether you plan to just pass this on to the next people in your lineage, or whether you plan to sell, or you just want to know what your options are, if you want to refinance, if you want to do a remodel, all of these things are applicable to those low interest rates. So that's my spiel for today. That was not on our script, but I just felt like I had to share. I had to share it. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for tuning into our show. Do you have anything else to say?
Oh,
Boo?
you can always contact us at 678-310-4392. Again, that's 678-310-4392.
678-310-4392. 678-310-4392. Or you can send us an email at Erica, ERIKA, at findinghomeatlanta, or Kurt.
CURT at findinghomeatlanta.com.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Erica.
I'm Kurt.
And we are Finding Home Atlanta, a husband and wife real estate team helping you to sell, buy, invest, and just understand more about the lovely, historic West Side of Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks so much for joining our show.